Jodi Cutler, and I'm a parent and a current North Star student and also a board member. And before I get into the story of how North Star saved my son and my sanity, I would like to make a quick pitch for helping North Star. There are many ways to contribute to North Star's success. Financially, through providing mentoring, internship opportunities, putting on a workshop, and particularly being on the board. Being a board member is an important way to work on the vision and mission of North Star and to give of your time and wisdom. We meet monthly and there's good snacks. Please consider checking the box that says, I might be interested in working with the board on the card that gets passed around at the end of the brunch. Okay, so now the story of how a mistake and North Star saved my family. My son came to North Star in February of last year, when he was just 12. He had been at Hartsbrook, which is a lovely, cozy, private school in a beautiful setting since before kindergarten. I loved it. I was totally committed to the school, and we paid a lot of money for the privilege of him going there. There was only one problem. My son was miserable. And let me tell you, miserable people are miserable to live with. Now, the misery wasn't always that clear. It sort of just crept up on us incrementally. And it wasn't until it was gone that I realized just how much we had tortured him, all the time believing that what we were doing was best for him. We didn't realize that his school experience had sculpted him into a miserable person. I simply believed that Ben was a depressed child, and I feared that once the teen years hit, we might be dealing with suicide attempts. School wasn't working for Ben, and he was actively trying to get himself kicked out. There were daily battles of getting to school, and nowadays the battle's reversed. I think Ben should stay home from North Star because he's under the weather, and he insists on going. Now, a few weeks before Ben came to North Star, Kip and I were debating whether to battle to keep Ben at Hartsbrook for the next year, which would have been 7th grade, or to look at another school. Homeschooling wasn't even on our radar screen. In my attempt to micromanage and sort through the pros and cons of where he should be, I wrote a pro and con list on my computer. That's when the fateful moment occurred that I made a mistake that would save my son's life, my family life, and bring Ben to North Star. I left my computer to continue the conversation with my husband about Ben's schooling when Ben called upstairs to me, "Mom, can I charge my iPod on your computer?" I said, "Sure," as it would give us more time and privacy to continue our conversation, not thinking he would see what I had written. Well, you can guess where this is going. Ben saw the list on the computer. He thought he had been kicked out of school and that a change was imminent. He came to find us and asked, "Does this mean I don't have to go to school tomorrow?" The intensity of his desire to have this be true was palpable in the air. The hopes and dreams that stemmed from the idea that he wouldn't have to go back to school tomorrow was crystal clear. It would destroy him if we said yes. My husband and I didn't even discuss it. We just looked at each other and said, "No, Ben, you don't have to go back." The relief on Ben's face was unbelievable. A weight was lifted from him, and he stood taller in that very moment. Now, I'm someone who's very organized and always plans things out. And having my 12-year-old at home 24/7 wasn't part of the game plan. And given how Ben's misery had made our relationship strained, I didn't think that both of us could survive homeschooling. This is when I discovered North Star. Who knew that such an amazing place existed that accepted kids for who they are and where they are at that moment? Ken was remarkable in instantly getting Ben. He knew the questions to ask, and Ben, to my great surprise, did not answer in nods, shrugs, and monosyllables. This is where I saw North Star's principle number 4 in action. How people behave under one set of circumstances and assumptions does not predict how they will behave under a different set of circumstances and assumptions. Ben, who had not responded well to teacher types in the past, was actually having a conversation. I learned more about who Ben was and what he wanted in overhearing that conversation between Ken and Ben than I had in a long, long time. And this was just the intake interview. North Star has helped Ben find great ways to learn, and I expect that that will continue to get even better as time goes on. It's amazing to me what he can do when he's motivated. Now, when I ask Ben to pull some weeds from our lawn, it's like pulling teeth to get him to do it. That's supposed to be funny. Yeah, last spring, Ken was able to determine that Ben would like to intern with a sports team, preferably a baseball team. And he was able to arrange for Ben to work with the collegiate baseball team, the Holyoke Blue Sox. Ben put in many hours doing hard labor, concession sales, and cold calling businesses to hand out flyers. There were some days when he chose to work 12 hours. Chose being an optimal word there. He has been asked back for this year as one of their best workers. Now, I am sure that he learned more life skills in those few months interning in an entire room in a classroom where he was miserable. In the 14 months since Ben started at North Star, he has grown tremendously. And not just the 5 inches, now that he's taller than me. He has had a great deal of freedom and independence, which has led to increased maturity. Shocking maturity, actually. And now, while there have been some missteps, as there is with any kind of newfound independence, I have been thoroughly impressed by the insight, support, and methods of conflict resolution offered by North Star to process through these difficulties. They have stood by him as he is. The acceptance of Ben as he is has led Ben to accept himself, to acknowledge his own areas of strength, and has helped him to achieve goals. I now would never even consider referring to him as a depressed child. In fact, Ben smiled more in the first 4 months at North Star than he had in the previous 4 years. I'm not exaggerating. He now has a zest for life and is a remarkable great father. Our relationship is vastly improved, and I truly enjoy his company, if not his music or taste in clothes. The first parent to ever say that, right? Our family's life is substantially better, and I'm not sure what we would do as a family or where Ben would be as a person or spending his days without North Star. I am not sure what other option I would have had that wouldn't have continued Ben's misery. North Star is a blessing to our family, and we are all healthier in mind and spirit as a result.